everyone, today in this video I'm going to be checking out the iRobot Roomba Combo i5. If you're interested in this vacuum cleaner and mop, or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. Now let's go ahead and try it out. First cleans out of the way, let's see how the vacuum held up. Just seeing a little bit of dust and hair as you would expect as it's agitating and moving along your floors. So a lot of dust around the main sensor on the navigational bumper. Let's flip it over, take a look at the mop pad here. Doesn't look bad at all. Still looks new. Obviously it's going to be wet, so that'll just vary depending on how dirty your floor is. We have not cleaned it yet, but definitely take this off, give it a nice wash. You'll be surprised by the dirt you'll be able to get out of it. Main brush roller looks great too. I'm not seeing any tangles. That is usually what you can expect out of this Aeroforce cleaning system. It was one of the best anti-tangling systems out there if you have a lot of pet hair or human hair. This is more typical though. Usually you'll see that on any vacuum that has a side cleaning brush. We have one long piece of human hair tangled in there. So keep an eye on that throughout your cleans. But so far, so good. Now let's look at the dustbin contents. We'll see what we're working with here. So look at that in there. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. A lot of pet hair, a lot of crumbs. Unbelievable. Hard to believe that we have a RoboVac running every night around our house and we're still able to get this much out just in 24 hours or less. That's between 4 humans and a dog, so I guess anything's possible, but you'll see the pet hair here, a lot of leaves, crumbs, see some glitter. You get the idea, but really fine dirt and dust as well as the larger objects will be able to be picked up with this vacuum. All right, now let's take a look at the mobile app. I'll give you a quick and brief overview of some of the key features. First, front and center, you'll see the status of your vacuum, charging, cleaning, pause, that sort of thing. In this case, it's unable to start. Place it on a flat surface. We have our charging icon and we have our map icon there. Here's our main floor map. This does have the option to add multiple maps. Here's how our map was populated. We can redivide the rooms as needed. We can relabel them. You can rotate things here. This is very basic mapping. You do not have the ability to set any sort of like no-go zones or virtual walls and barriers. You just have the ability to have a map and do room by room cleaning. And you'll see that down here, our favorite section. We can clean everywhere, or we can set up a new favorite where we would just clean by room, or things along those lines. We have scheduling options, so we can schedule this vacuum. You have the ability to choose the days of the week, hour, minute, where do you want it to clean, everywhere, or room by room clean. We also have the automation options. If you don't want to pick a time, maybe you have a very flexible, ever-changing schedule, then it's smart enough to detect when you leave, and it will clean that way. So pick and choose how you want to schedule your Roomba out. And then we can view our cleaning history right here. So take a look, you'll see how it was able to clean. And we have the map that's populated, every area it was able to clean. So anything in white, like this is where the kitchen table and chairs are. Ottoman, you get the idea. Certain areas like that, kids' toys, why it hasn't cleaned there. And we get a nice breakdown. So the time that it ran for and the area that it cleaned. So it ran for an hour, came back home, recharged for an hour, and finished cleaning. So 475 square feet. Nice breakdown and overview there for you. Device messages, then you'll see like product health. We have product settings here, so we can go in and learn more about our Roomba, and we can locate it if we get lost. We can adjust our cleaning preferences. So we don't have any suction controls. We just have our cleaning passes. So let me show you that really quick actually. So you have 1, 2, or room size clean. Then we can reboot it, view our network information, or change Wi-Fi. So there's also beta at the bottom. I'll show you that too. If there's any beta features for your vacuum, you can check those out there and see if you want to try them out. So it's a very simple app, easy to navigate. It's going to be fairly basic in the feature set, but for a lot of you, the simplicity is beneficial. So how does the Combo i5 stack up against the competition? Well, we'll be comparing it not only within iRobot's lineup, but with the over 50 RoboVacs and mops that we've personally tested here in the studio. So first up, we like to look at a couple of key indicators to see how good of a job it's going to do in the real world with deep cleaning. The first one is max suction power, but unfortunately, this information is not published and readily available by iRobot. So it's still a mystery, but if I had to guess, it would be below the average, which is 4,000 PAs. Next, you'll see max CFM. This score, just like PAs, the higher, the better, the more powerful, and hopefully the better of a job your vacuum will do cleaning. Judging off of this CFM score is why I believe our PA score would be lower than the average, just like our CFM scores are lower than the average. So the i5 coming in at 2.6, the brand average is 3.7. That's skewed higher thanks to the J9 and the S9 vacuums. Compared to all tested, you'll see we're about half the average here. The average coming in close to 7, and we're closer to 3.5 for iRobot, and then we're even below the average by 50% for the i5. Good news is though, doesn't matter with deep cleaning. This Roomba scored fantastic, got a 90 out of the best possible score of 100. The brand average is 89, so we're right at that brand average. The overall average is only 86. So even though we were below the CFM value substantially, you'll see it didn't matter because iRobot has some tricks up its sleeve, and thanks to the Aeroforce cleaning system on this particular i5 unit, it was able to overcome that. They found ways to use their roller system to its advantage where they don't have to provide as much PA or CFM like other vacuums do. Next, let's talk about decibels. This max decibel on the i5 came in at 69. The higher this score, the louder the vacuum is going to be. Brand average is 68. You'll see overall average is 69, so well within range. No noticeable difference using this vacuum versus your typical RoboVac. Next, battery life. Let's talk about battery life. This is hit or miss on if this information is available, and we're getting conflicting results for this particular vacuum. It's probably 75 to 100 and some minutes, maybe 90 minutes of runtime with this particular unit. So ours ran, I think, right about 70 minutes or so, and then went back home to recharge. So we left that value out. The brand average is usually around 100, but that skews higher for some of their top-end models that get that 90 minutes or beyond. So the overall average is 150 minutes. Your Roomba is going to be below that average, but the good news is these vacuums are smart. So these Roombas know they can go back home, recharge, and continue on with their clean. So it's kind of not really that big of a deal. Next, let's talk about battery capacity. This information also not available right now at the moment, so not really sure. If I had to guess, it'd be similar to the brand average, right around that 2200 milliamp hour. Again, well below the overall average compared to all the vacuums we've reviewed, but again, doesn't really seem to matter with this particular vacuum. They seem to make the most out of their roller brushes and system to compensate for that smaller capacity. And again, they're smart enough and capable to go back home, recharge, and continue on with their clean. Next, let's talk about height. 3.6 inches for the i5. The brand average is 3.5. Skews a little bit lower depending on the model and how it's navigating. Those J series ditch a little bit of the sensor up at the top, giving us slightly lower average of 3.5. Overall average, great mix of vacuums with and without LiDAR. So we're right at that average height for our RoboVac. Next, let's talk about bin capacity. Very standard bin here, just like your other iSeries devices. So we have 400 milliliter dust bin. If you get the version that self-empties, this doesn't really matter at all, but you tend to see a larger capacity for versions that don't. Overall average 380 for iRobot, and overall average across all 50 plus RoboVacs we've tested, 420, so well within range. Next, water tank capacity, also measured in milliliters, 210. This seems to be standard on your combo units. Brand average is 300, but that's because those Brava jets skew it higher. Typically, you'll see right at that 210 milliliter mark. Overall average across all RoboVacs and models that we've tested, 260 milliliters. And last but not least, let's talk about cost. So this helps us understand where the i5 fits in iRobot's lineup as well as the overall tested. So that overall tested includes the lowest possible vacuums and models and the highest Ferrari caliber vacuums and models with all different feature sets, self-empty, non-self-empty, all that good stuff. Mopping, no mopping, you get the idea. So within iRobot's brand lineup, very, very affordable, but you are not getting a self-empty base with this vacuum. Just standard charging, and you pick up the mopping tank and module, but very aggressive pricing for this vacuum when you consider iRobot's overall brand average. And we're still right close to maybe 100-ish, couple $100 less than the average tested, but usually at that average price point that you're seeing, you will pick up a self-empty base. So although technically the i5 does have mopping and great cleaning and decent navigation, it's technically more expensive if you consider the true average that's giving us a self-empty base that we're not getting with the regular i5. That would then bump this price up to or beyond the overall typical RoboVac average. So after using the combo i5, where does that leave us? Well, within iRobot's lineup, I really like the iSeries. The value is definitely there. For a lot of you though, I think you could get away with just the 600 series Roombas and be fine, or jump up to the J series. It's not that much more. You'll pick up that front-facing camera and sensor, so now your vacuum's smarter, gives us zone and room cleaning, and it can detect things like pet waste and cord. So for a lot of you, I'd probably push you that way to the J series. You can get the combo J series as well if you want the mop. But in regards to what this vacuum is within their lineup, it's definitely an affordable option for you to get mopping and still have access to the same great cleaning system found in their next level, the J series devices. So keep in mind for the combo i5, you're getting mopping, although it's very, very basic. It's basically just like a damp cloth being wiped back and forth on your floor. There's no self-cleaning, tank refilling, anything like that. But the AeroForce cleaning system on this vacuum is great for hard floors and carpets, especially if you have a lot of long-haired individuals in your house that shed a lot, and pets. It's going to be one of the best systems out there to avoid tangle. So that's what you're going to need to know with this one. But for a lot of you, I would say go to the J series. If you can swing it, you'll appreciate that sensor and advanced navigation. And if you can or can't, depending on the deals, the bundles, all that good stuff, I highly recommend trying to get the Plus version so you can pick up that self-empty base. It makes your Robo Vacuum Cleaner that much more versatile and useful.